as far as me being introverted, like, what are the, for family wise and being married with me, like, what are the positives and not so positives being introverted? Me specifically.
So, I think, so like, okay, so they're introverted. The fact that we're both introverted, like, I can see it to where, I mean, we're not people, we don't go out. We don't, we don't, like, have a lot of friends. We don't, or if we do have friends, it's not, we don't, it's like we're not hanging out all the time, or, even having people over or going over places. It's just, like, we're home, but that for him extends to family too. And for me, it doesn't. For me, that's where a lot of where he thought I was an extrovert, like that's, I mean, because in the community too, if it's a place where I've been a lot or I am a lot, like now it's work. When we lived in Minneapolis, it was, being in the community.
So like extended family members.
Yeah, to me, that's what these places become, and then I can be comfortable in it and be a little bit more extroverted, because they're my extended family. But for him, he's just introverted. Like, when it comes to family events, he prefers to stay home.
Or if I go, I'm not, like, I'm pretty to myself.
Yeah. And if he is part of, like, the group, obviously he's not going to just sit there and ignore people or not laugh or not engage, but he's not putting himself out there. And so I think especially in my family, that's hard. So that's where I have to not take it personal. Because that's just him, like that's just how he is. But, to try to explain that sometimes, like, it's like some people just don't get it, especially in my family. Like in my family, who I grew up with, because we're not like that, like we're just, I mean, sitting around and loud and laughing and telling stories, and and so it is a little bit different for it was for me.
Because how many kids did you grow up with? Brothers and sisters?
There was 11 of us.
Yeah, so she had a huge... That was one of the things. She has a huge family. Then they had all these things going on all the time. So they all got tons of stories, and they're all in a close age range.
There was like the 5 big kids and the 5 little kids, and so, well, 6 little kids really, but where it was like the big girls and the little kids. Like it was the 2 groups, and then we're all around the same age. So, yeah.
Then with me, this is basically me. Because I'm like 5 years older than my sister. Then my brother is like 9 years older than me, or something like that. So I was a loner. I was totally cool with it though. But so, like, I didn't have the stories. Like, they're talking about all these stories, and I'm like, well, only stories I got is like playing in the woods. Like, I was
by himself.
I was battling imaginary people out in the woods. And I don't want to bring that stuff up because it's like, oh yeah, I did something similar, but it was with an imaginary thing.
Well, and really, I mean, it's just like, because I get it, but like we were in the woods too, but it was like us, like a bunch of us, or in even, like, I mean, when we first started driving, so we started driving, we lived out, out of town, 6 miles out of town. We had like a lot of land that we lived on. And so when we were young, like my baby son, our baby son's age, we were already, starting to drive even out, never in public or anything, but out in the field. And we would go and we would have imaginary things, like, oh, we're driving to our friend's house and we'd just be driving in the field or whatever, like, but it was always, it's like the same type of things, but together. Whereas he, like that was just like him. So, yeah.
Yeah. But there are some of her family members that like know me a little bit more, and like it takes a while for me to open up to people and get comfortable with them. But then they'll get to see my side that she gets to see. It's not constant, but like my goofy side, like where I get to show some of y'all. Um, but I'm not goofy around her family members, and I'm rather goofy around my intermediate family. But here at the home, like I get to be a little bit more goofy with them as well. But yeah, her mom used to think that I had a lot of dry humor because I talk pretty monotone and just like this and make a little stupid joke. But they thought I had dry humor, and one of her sisters was like, "Who, Comanche?" She's like, "No, man, he's crazy." I don't know, but that's just so. So that's my introverted. Train.